What could possibly be hidden behind that shy, fleeting glance from Kim Hye-yoon that made Byun Woo-seok, and the entire world, stop in their tracks? It wasn't just a look, it was a moment charged with emotion. One that fans can't stop replaying. Join Red Carpet Revealed as we dive deep into this captivating scene and uncover the truth, starting right now. It was supposed to be just another glamorous night in Seoul's ever-bustling entertainment world, a night of bright lights, screaming fans, and endless camera flashes. But no one in the audience, nor the millions watching online, could have predicted that a single glance, lasting barely a few seconds, become the heartbeat of the entire evening. The venue, an elegant theater adorned with gold drapes and crystal chandeliers, was alive with anticipation. Celebrities swept down the red carpet in meticulously chosen outfits, every step documented by photographers eager for that perfect shot. But the energy shifted the moment Byun Woo-seok walked in. He was dressed in a sharp black suit, the kind that commanded attention without trying. His tall frame cut through the crowd effortlessly, every nod and smile sending a ripple through the fans packed against the barricades. He paused for a moment under the blinding lights of the photo wall, answering a few questions with his usual calm, measured tone. The air was thick with excitement, and then it happened. From the far side of the stage, Kim Hye-yoon entered the frame. She was luminous in a soft pastel gown that seemed to float with each step. Her hair framed her face in delicate waves, and her smile was warm but reserved, as though she were holding something back. They were not walking together, at least, not officially. The space between them seemed to crackle. As she approached the host's microphone, their eyes met. And in that instant, the atmosphere changed. It was subtle at first, just a barest hesitation in her stride, a flicker of uncertainty in her eyes before she dipped her chin ever so slightly. Her smile deepened but softened at the edges. A faint blush crept across her cheeks. To anyone else, it might have looked like a simple moment of politeness between colleagues. But to the fans who had followed their careers, who remembered the behind-the-scenes videos, the candid interviews, the easy laughter they once shared, it was a spark. The cameras caught it, of course. Definition lenses zoomed in on that exact moment, Kim Hye-yoon glancing down, tucking a loose strand of hair behind her ear, her gaze darting back to Woo-seok for just a second before she looked away. He, for his part, was no better at masking his reaction. The corner of his mouth curved upward, and his eyes lingered on her a beat longer than necessary. It was enough. The audience in the theater let out a collective murmur, the kind of sound that spreads like a wave, while online viewers scrambled to clip the footage. Within minutes, social media exploded. Hashtags like Hye-yoon shy look and Woo-seok reaction began trending worldwide. Twitter timelines filled with slowed-down gifs of the glance, fans adding heart emojis, overanalyzing every micro-expression. "Did you see the way he looked at her?" one comment read. Another chimed in, "That's not just acting chemistry, that's real." But while the world speculated, the two on stage continued with the program as though nothing had happened. They answered questions, posed for photos, and kept their composure. Still, if you looked closely, there were moments, tiny, almost imperceptible shifts, where their paths would cross again. A shared laugh at something the host said, a polite bow, a gentle hand gesture to let the other pass first. Each interaction fed the growing storm outside those walls. For fans, this was not an isolated incident. It was the latest chapter in a long, slow-burn story that began years ago when they first worked together. Back then, their interactions had been friendly but professional, at least in public. Yet rumors persisted, fueled by the way Woo-seok seemed to light up in her presence, or how she would laugh just a little too freely when he cracked a joke. Both dismissed the gossip whenever asked. Her answers always variations of "we're just good colleagues." Fans didn't need confirmation. They had their moments. They cherished them. As the night wore on, the moment of the glance refused to fade. By the time the award ceremony wrapped, the clip had been shared across Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Paired with romantic soundtracks racked up millions of views. Comment sections overflowed with declarations like, "State already, and this is the drama I didn't know I needed." In a sea of glitz and scripted interactions, that brief awkward look felt unfiltered, real, and in an industry where every gesture is calculated, real moments are rare treasures. Behind the scenes, Woo-seok was seen heading toward the exit with his team, but not before passing close by Hye-yoon. Kim caught the second they crossed paths, a quick exchange of words, both smiling. Her hand lifting slightly in a shy wave. The clip only deepened the frenzy, leaving everyone asking the same question: was this simply a sweet moment between friends? Or the quiet reveal of something more? The question would carry into the next day. And the days after. The internet dissected every frame. But for those who had been in that room, they already knew. Something shifted that night. Something small yet seismic. Though neither of them had said a word about it, the silence spoke volumes. The morning after, the headlines were impossible to avoid. Entertainment portals splashed still shots of the glance across their homepages, accompanied by breathless captions: "What's behind Kim Hye-yoon's shy look at Byun Woo-seok?" The moment that stole the show. Mainstream news picked it up, framing it as a testament to the public's hunger for authenticity in celebrity culture. Both actors' agencies remained quiet. No statements. No clarifications, just the sound of fan speculation filling the void. On Twitter, threads emerged compiling every interaction the two had ever had, dating back to their first press conference. Fans analyzed the way his body angled toward her in group photos, or how she once brought him coffee during a shoot. The most mundane details became pieces of a romantic puzzle that everyone wanted to solve. For Hye-yoon, the sudden spotlight was a mix of the familiar and the overwhelming. She was no stranger to media attention. This was different. This wasn't about a project or an award, it was about her. After the event, she was spotted on her way to a filming location, dressed casually in a cap and oversized sweater. Paparazzi photos showed her smiling politely but saying nothing when asked about the moment. Yet those who looked closely swore they saw the faintest blush on her cheeks. Woo-seok, meanwhile, seemed unfazed, or perhaps carefully composed. He attended a brand event the following evening, fielding the usual questions about his upcoming work. When one reporter slipped in a playful query, "Do you know you're trending with Kim Hye-yoon right now?" he chuckled. Paused just long enough to make the crowd lean in, and replied, "I'm aware people noticed something." Always nice to see a friendly face at these events. His words were neutral, but the smile that followed kept the rumor mill turning. The next week, the internet's obsession only grew. Fan art portraying the moment flooded Instagram. Edits combined their on-screen characters with real-life footage, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. International fans joined in, translating Korean articles and subtitling interview clips. Even brands began capitalizing on the buzz, posting ads that subtly referenced shy glances and unexpected sparks. But behind the spectacle was a quieter truth, one only a handful of people knew. In the days after the event, Hye-yoon and Woo-seok crossed paths again, this time away from cameras. A small wrap party for a mutual friend's project, held in a cozy restaurant tucked into a quiet Seoul neighborhood. There were no flashing lights, no screaming fans, just the soft hum of conversation and the clink of glasses. Seated across from each other at the far end of the table, they spoke in low tones, laughing easily. Whatever awkwardness had flickered on stage that night seemed to melt away in the warmth of familiar company. Those who witnessed it didn't need to ask what was going on. They leaned in slightly while talking. The unguarded smiles, the ease in their body language, it was clear there was more to their connection than what the public had seen. Still, neither seemed in a hurry to define it. It's not for anyone else's benefit. As the weeks passed, the frenzy began to settle. But the memory of that night remained. Fans still shared the clip, still tagged it with hopeful captions. For many, it wasn't about confirming a romance, it was about the joy of witnessing something genuine. In an industry built on image, that brief, polished moment had cut through the noise. Months later, at another public event, they found themselves on the same stage again. This time, when their eyes met, there was no awkwardness, just a warmth that spoke of shared history. The crowd noticed, of course, and the cameras caught it. But it felt different. Like an accidental reveal, and more like a quiet acknowledgement. Perhaps that was the real story all along, not whether they were together, but how one fleeting look could shake not only the people involved but everyone who saw it. In the end, it was a reminder that sometimes, smallest moments carry the most weight. And for Kim Hye-yoon and Byun Woo-seok, that awkward glance had become something more, a spark the whole world felt. Even if only for a second. We're so glad you joined us for this journey into one of the most talked about moments in the entertainment world. Your thoughts and opinions matter, so share them with us. Scroll down and leave a comment to tell us what you think about Kim Hye-yoon's unforgettable glance at Byun Woo-seok. Did it make your heart race, too? Enjoyed this story? Don't forget to like it to show your support. Subscribe so you'll never miss our next exclusive report, behind-the-scenes story, or emotional celebrity moment. Your engagement keeps Red Carpet Revealed alive and inspires us to bring you even more captivating content. Join the conversation, connect with other fans, and be part of our growing community. Click subscribe, hit like, drop a comment, and stay tuned, as the next big story is just around the corner.